Let's turn now to your forecast. No matter what you want to call it, chilly, raw, dreary, it was not the prettiest day in the Carolinas. This is a time lapse taken over uptown from earlier this evening, and it's not exactly the best looking shot of the skyline. Brad Panovich standing by, even though you wouldn't know it with today's weather. You've mentioned that we are actually in a bit of a drought.
Yeah, we're in moderate drought conditions now here in the Charlotte area. We could have used more rain today. We didn't get a whole lot, and we haven't seen a lot this autumn. So we could definitely use some soaking rains. Tonight, the story's the cold air because we're already in the 30s. This is colder than it was even this morning. It was kind of a weird day. The high temperature was actually at 120 in the morning, and the low was in the afternoon. But now the new low for the day is our current temperatures, which are already close to the freezing mark in many locations. So tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up to freezing conditions, a lot of frost, but the clouds could thicken back up, and temperatures are going to struggle to get in the 50s tomorrow. Here's the key part. You see that northeast wind? It's going to be sustained around 10 to 15, but gusts to 20. So it is still going to be much colder than these actual temperatures are kind of leading you to believe. Mid-50s might not seem that cold, but you throw in that wind in the clouds, it's going to be chilly. Obviously, our best chance of a freeze will be tomorrow morning, but we could see another one on Saturday morning. And then some cold mornings going into the start of the week. Looks like next week, though, we should see things moderate a little bit. What's interesting is this northeast wind's going to persist, partly because of the high pressure to our north, but also because we're going to see a developing low pressure system that's eventually going to become a nor'easter on the east coast here, basically off the South Carolina coast. Remember, a nor'easter gets that name because it produces these strong northeast winds along the coast. You can technically get one anywhere on the east coast, and this is one of those nor'easters. It's a cool season tropical system, if you will. It's not tropical in nature, but some of the impacts will be very similar. As this develops over Florida and then moves up the coast, we're going to see the strong onshore winds. At times, the gust could be close to 60 miles per hour along the coast. You throw in the fact that this weekend is an astronomical high tide. We're just past the new moon. We will see higher tide, so a lot of storm surge as well, and the possibility of some big-time beach erosion. So coastal flood advisories are up and flood warnings. People at the Outer Banks, you could see probably the strongest winds we've seen even all hurricane season from this nor'easter as it spins up the coast. And it's going to have some impacts here locally because as we go through the next couple of days, it could throw clouds back our way, which would keep temperatures down. But there's also a chance on Saturday some of these outer bands of showers could get back in here. And with the clouds and that shower activity, temperatures on Saturday might, like today, struggle to even get out of the 40s. So I'm getting a little bit more pessimistic for our Saturday forecast. It does not look like a great day right now with northeast winds and really cold temperatures. Now Sunday looking more promising. The nor'easter moves away and we see those north winds develop, but the sun comes out, so temperatures should be back into the 60s, but it'll still feel chilly in the shade if you're going to that Panthers game. Now rainfall from this nor'easter will be heaviest to our east, but we could see some heavier rain bands develop along the coast, and then you see some of those rain bands out towards the coast. Some of these areas right near the Wilmington area up towards the Crystal Coast, maybe 6 or 7 inches of rain. So this potentially could be a big deal for coastal areas. So we're going to throw a rain chance back in for Saturday, mostly cloudy skies. Only maybe low 50s, most of the day in the 40s. Sunday looks to be a better day. I think we will see temperatures back in the low 60s, and it will be drier. And speaking of the tropics, while our nor'easter is not tropical in nature, this is subtropical storm Wanda, which is taking on some tropical characteristics at times. It'll be subtropical again, but it'll be moving up to the north and east and eventually could impact the British Isles. Long range, that nor'easter probably going to be another big storm out in the Atlantic as it moves away from us. We will see high pressure build in next week with southerly winds, so expect a huge warm up going into the beginning of next week. So as cold as it is tonight and the next couple of days, we're going to see a pretty significant rebound into next week with high temperatures back in the 70s. Tomorrow, though, another chilly day, just not as cold as today. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s. Some breaks in the clouds will give us some sunshine from time to time. Again, with that northeast wind, it'll feel much colder than those air temperatures. 7-day forecast. Don't forget, set the clocks back this weekend. Check those batteries and the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Just go ahead and change them. But next week, a mild stretch of weather. Temperatures back in the 70s for most of next week.
We will not take it for granted. All right, thank you, Brad.